Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the show, everyone. This is GFT Radio Show. You're coming to us live. We're happy to be here. We got a great show for you tonight. Everybody want to introduce themselves? Let's start with Miles, our guest.
Well, hello. My name is Miles Moore. I'm here as an illustrious guest for this wonderful show tonight. I look forward to having a great dialogue about this subject.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You already know who it is. It's your boy Clint. You know what I mean? Glad to have Miles with us tonight. We got a great show lined up for y'all.
Yes, and it's definitely the girl Sunny, the only girl of this podcast, joining you guys tonight. Hope you guys enjoy the topic, and thank you, Miles, for joining us as well.
Damon.
And it's your boy Damon from the D.
What's going on, Damon?
Hey, Dame.
And, of course, this is your boy Willie Styles. I'm going to try to step in as host tonight. The topic that I picked up out there and wanted to bring to you guys. And, you know, the rest of the crew was gracious enough to allow me to host tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking about gaslighting. And our topic, how gaslighting is destroying you. So we're going to talk to you tonight about gaslighting, what it is, you know, how it affects people, and what you can do to detect the signs of it. So before we get started, I just wanted to throw out there that around 10:15 we're going to open up the lines. The number to call in is 657-383-1155. And, of course, you can tweet us at GFT_radio. We'll be live tweeting tonight as well. And, of course, you're listening on blogtalkradio.com/GFT Radio Show. All right, so let's get into the topic as usual. We're going to, talk about the topic at hand. And I'm going to throw out some outline points that we're going to go over. Basically, we want to talk about gaslighting. Like I said, gaslighting, or as we've been posting this week, gaslighting is a psychological tactic that some people use to gain control over people. And matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys a good explanation of what it is. Hopefully it'll resonate with you, and if not, we're definitely going to give you some great examples of what gaslighting is and how people use it against you. So gaslighting is an insidious form of manipulation and control, which gets its name from a 1938 play called Gaslight. It's basically a psychological tactic that's used to mislead, to force people to doubt themselves, and to also kind of skew a person's perception of themselves. Basically, gaslighting is a way of mind control or controlling a person either in a relationship, sometimes even at work, and even in the media. So tonight we're going to talk about that, get everybody's opinion on it, and see, how you can make sure that you are not a victim, or if you are, how you can turn that relationship around and get your life back together. All right, guys. So let's get started with what it is and what it means to you, each of you. I don't know who wants to go first. I just want to pass the mic around, of course, and talk about what gaslighting means to you.
I guess I could jump in real quick.
All right.
To me, it's just a form of manipulation.
Actually, earlier a friend of mine was inquiring about the show, and he was inquiring, man, what's gaslighting like? You know what I mean? Is it for the weak-minded? It sounds like it only affects the weak-minded. And I told him, I said it have a stronger and quicker effect on the weak-minded, but it also, it's like a setup. When I was reading up on it, they'll set you up, to build you up, to you down, and manipulate you. So even if you believe you're strong-minded, it can still affect you. You can still get caught by gaslighting. You know what I mean? Especially if somebody's real good at it. So it's a high form of manipulation. And looking back on it, I think I may have been gaslighted before. Because it's not just with a intimate relationship, but by friends, family members. When I look at the symptoms and I look at the behavior of the people who participate in it, or how they break it down, I'm like, yeah, I definitely, I definitely experienced it. I never had a term for it. I just thought it was somebody just trying to be conniving, manipulative, or what have you. But, I noticed it resonated with a lot of people when we start talking about this topic because, other people I follow online, they start posting about it. They start talking like, yeah, man, this happened to me, this, that, and the third. So it's definitely in my mind.
Oh, yeah, definitely feel you, brother. Definitely feel you on that. Tell me, you wanted to chime in?
Yeah, I was reading up on it because I had to, even though you gave us, information on what it means, I had to just read it for myself. And it could be in so many, like Clint said, it could be in so many forms, and so many types of relationships. Also, and I found it funny that they, they also reference it to some of the politics and that people do, and more so towards Donald Trump and how he kind of does his own form of gaslighting where he kind of manipulates people to believe what they see or hear. It is not real because he says things and then he denies it and tries to change it and tries to manipulate us to think that no, what we actually saw or heard was untrue, even though we saw him and heard him say it and try to flip it around and say no, this is what I said. And I actually see it in the workplace too. I was reading it and I'm like, wow, like some of the things that I know that I've recently happened in work. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I know people that have relationships that probably went through this at some point, and it's just crazy. They're like almost like magicians. It kind of make you believe, like, don't believe your eyes, and just like even though you see what's happening, you just believe what they want you to believe, and it kind of like Clint said, it happens to anybody. It can break you down. Like it's different stages on how they break you down to where they end up making you not believe yourself, and they drive you insane because even though you saw something happen, they manipulate you to the point where you just believe what they say, even though you saw it for yourself. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad you mentioned the different places where you can experience it or even see it happening to either yourself or to others. Damon, you wanted to throw in something there?
Yeah, I actually lived it. My ex-wife. I didn't know the term for it. I didn't see it until it was like too late when we were going through our divorce. I looked back on a lot of things and details of mistakes, arguments that we had, and it wasn't coincidental for a lot of things that added up. It was like she was doing this to manipulate the situation for her favor, but in the end, that she ended up looking like the jackass because all her friends and family members saw that she was doing what she was doing. So in the end, I ended up coming out with a beautiful child and a beautiful wife out the situation. I'm sorry I had to go through it, but at the same time, I'm happy that I went through it because of what I got out of it.
Oh, yeah, that's a positive spin on it. Miles, you want to jump in there?
Absolutely. I think from this perspective, because this is something I deal with as far as being a certified life coach, I deal with the after effects of this type of behavior. When people come to me to help getting their goals accomplished, this is one of those things that we end up finding out it has layers to it. It's not just on the surface. It can be bullying. It can be anything. You can call it whatever you want it. But at the end of the day, it undermines a person's self-esteem. It undermines a person's desire to be great. And so what happens? This topic when I saw it blew my mind because it was like there's so many people who are dealing with this every day. Sometimes the things that happen at the White House, some of the things that happen, in relationships, in friendships, on the job. We've lost a human touch to want to see our brother and our sister flourish. If I can't want beauty for myself and ashes for you, but a person who operates with this gaslighting mentality, what they're doing is trying to see how they can build up their kingdom without, in turn, being a blessing for their fellow. And it's like I said, you're starting to see it come from high places now. But also, it's beautiful that you do this tonight, because now there's also the situations where we're starting to see people who have been operating out of this mindset. They're being exposed. If you look at a lot of the issues with people being exposed for sexual assault, this is a major piece of the puzzle. People use, these scare tactics, use manipulative tactics to get whatever they want. A lot of times it's sexual in nature. A lot of rape victims, have not been able to feel comfortable coming forward because you got to prove it. And not just, it didn't. If it happened, it happened, but you got to prove it. And it's hard to prove something when a person is so, you deal with a brilliant mind going left. A person almost on the same lines as Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Wow.
Narcissist.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was going to say, it reminds me of the situation we was talking about with Russell Simmons and the young lady. He was accused of, she was like a film director or whatever, and she had accused him of raping her one time, and then, later on, it happened again, and he kind of manipulated her as far as her trying to get her, do another picture or whatever, and the way like how she described it is kind of like what he said, like what we're talking about, like he manipulated, gaslight. It was gaslighting because it kind of was in the form like it really didn't happen. Like she didn't believe it happened the first time, so when it occurred the second time, it was a little bit more traumatizing to her. You feel me? But she was scared to come out because why? People gonna be like, well, why did you do it the second time, knowing what had happened already? You know what I mean? So it's like it was a high form of manipulation. He manipulated, he gaslighted, and to the point to where she couldn't even recognize what was going on, and basically that's why she went back.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was about to say, I think a lot of what you guys are pointing out is the most classic cases of how the manipulation makes a person feel like they're either crazy themselves, like the reality of what they think is happening isn't happening because nobody else seems to see it. Especially when the gaslighter is making them feel that way, is telling them nobody else is seeing this, or is telling them that this isn't really happening. The situation with Trump that recently came up about the guns in school, and he said that he didn't make a statement that teachers should get guns in school. He said that this was fake news, right? And one of the signs that, and we'll get to all the signs in a minute, but one of the signs was talking about how a gaslighter will tell you that, no matter what, other people are lying about what they're doing or lying about something that you know or seem to know is true. And then once they say that it's untrue, they'll want you to come back to them for the truth. They want you to come and only trust them with the truth. And that's his favorite word is, this is fake news, right? I've seen it with relationships too, where a person will say, hey, you did X, Y, and Z, and now, you are wrong for doing this. And then the person that's being gaslighted will feel like, they did it because the gaslighter told them they did it, even though they're like, well, I don't feel like I did it. Like one of the examples in the article was about how a woman would go out and try to find the perfect dinner for her husband, and he's telling her, well, you're not a good wife unless you find this specific thing for me, or you're not a good girlfriend if you don't do this one specific thing for me. You got to show me you love me, And I've seen that in regular relationships, and it's that manipulation that causes that person to doubt not only themselves but the reality of the matter or the fact of the matter, right? So it's a lot that this mind control touches, and Miles, your point about the sexual harassment, that's huge. I mean, I didn't even think about it like that, but that's another great example of the mind manipulation that happens there, and then self-doubt that it puts onto people. So let's go into talking about the effects and how it, drives people in these relationships and why they don't. I think Clint, you really started talking about it with the Russell Simmons situation. Let's talk about these effects that it has on people and how it changes them.
But it can definitely make you depressed. It can definitely erode at your self-worth, your self-esteem. To piggyback off what, because Damon, I wasn't really going to talk about it, but since Damon put himself out there, I put myself out there too. I was in a relationship where it was sort of the same thing, to where now, you feel me, what happened, but, the story, how we say, what they do, they flip the story, so now you start questioning yourself, you start, like, well, maybe I am overreacting, maybe I'm, maybe it ain't as deep as what I think it is, when it naturally is. So when it gets to that point, when it starts the way you think, you start questioning yourself. Now your decisions are not on point. So, and then it could just it's like a snowball effect, in my opinion. Because once you start questioning yourself in one thing, you're gonna start questioning yourself in other things. So now it's like whatever you do, is you second guessing yourself, and you never really commit. Eventually you got to take a step back to analyze the situation and to see what's really going on, and know that you on point. You feel me? And so you can really, get to the crux of the situation. Because, when somebody really good at it, somebody that's real manipulative and conniving, like, man, listen, it's that's how you stressed out, bro. That's how you stressed out beyond words. I'm trying to tell you, make you want to do something to somebody. So, like the effects of it can be real deep. It all depends on who you are as well. You feel me? Like I said earlier, if you're weak-minded, or gullible, you can get depressed quick. Other people may act out in a different type of way, but that depression is real.
Too true. And Miles, you were touching on this as well a little bit earlier about people that you coached and the effects that it can have on them and how it affects maybe you can elaborate for us on that.
Absolutely. One thing that, like I said, comes back to for me is the ideology of self-esteem. And if a person's self-esteem is chipping away at their confidence and starting to drain, you see a lot of cases of people committing suicide. You see a lot of cases of people being depressed, having to take antidepressants, having to go to counseling for things sometimes it's not even their fault. Sometimes, believe it or not, one of the biggest sources of this of gaslighting can be your parents, trying to get you to be the perfect child, so to speak. We're trying to get you a little to a standard that may not even hit you. It can happen with, coaching, athletes. Athletes go through it all the time too. That is, being forced into this ideology of a standard that doesn't necessarily always have their best interest at heart. I think that for, like I said, it's dealing with it personally as a coach with my clients, and helping them get through it. The one thing that comes back is like, how do you convince somebody that they're not worth anything, that they're worthless? And that takes is not. And here's the thing: it actually affects strong-minded people more intensely than weak-minded people, because a strong-minded person is usually a very intelligent person, a person who thinks things out. The one thing that the easiest way to control somebody is to affect how they think, because once you start thinking, start processing it. Once you start processing it, then there's other levels of it. Continue chipping away at a person's self-esteem. It always comes back to that self-esteem piece. If you can affect somebody's self-esteem, you can lead them and guide them. It happens sometimes with pastors. It happens sometimes, with people who are in positions of authority. She's given this power to, that you don't even question what they say. And so that means that the people that come into our lives, we trust them to have our best interests. And so that's where, it causes more issues with once the self-esteem is chipped away, once the confidence is starting to drain, then it's a trust issue. People are now getting to a place where they can't even trust themselves because they've been manipulated so much by people who are using these tactics.
Right. I mean, that's and
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Nah, go ahead, Willie. I was just about to say, like, until he mentioned it, you'll never, like, it runs deep now, though. He started mentioning pastors and all that stuff. Like, you really see how deep it can run. You know what I mean? Like
it could be, I was reading in one article, it could be a school bully. It could be, like, it could, like, I mean.
It's bullying. It's really one-on-one. This is the language of the bully.
Yeah. This is crazy that, like I said, I'm reading more of this, and I'm just sitting here like, wow. And I had posted on my Facebook that there's so many people I know that, like, I feel like are in these situations. And and like the people that I mean, they're I don't want to say that they're weak-minded, but they're I would say I wouldn't say weak-minded. I would just be say passive. And, because, like, when you see some of the signs of what they do or how people, like, the people that are being gaslighted and their effects of it, like, some of the effects, I'm just like, wow, I know people that do that. I know that, like, I can, like, if I'm looking at the list and there's, like, 10 things on the list, there's about 9 of them things that's like, oh, okay, like, you only one different. Like, and then my question would be, how can you help somebody see what's happening to them?
That's a great question. I can answer it like this. Once a person's self-esteem has been compromised, it's a process getting built back up. They have to not only trust themselves, not just trust other people, but trust themselves again. Because once a person, like I say, we're not talking about most people. I believe most people have a level of intelligence that gets them to the point of being adults and being able to apply as an adult, going to work, taking care of bills, taking care of their responsibilities. Most people have that capacity. And so most people have a level of intelligence that also that allows them to be able to function and interact with people, interact in relationships. But once that trust gets compromised, it's really hard to build that person back up, but it's not impossible. And one thing that I've always worked on with different people, working on getting a person to see the value of themselves outside of anybody's opinion, to remove all filters. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. Remove all the filters to see the real you, and let's start to learn to love the real you again outside of what a person may say that you want. You see a lot of people go through it. As was mentioned before, with spouses that are trying to exert themselves upon somebody else to lead and mislead them. You have to get your self-esteem back. You have to continue to be motivated and encouraged to see the best in you. And like even myself now, I don't really pay too much attention to the news because that's a major piece of the puzzle that keeps a lot of people bound. It's watching what's going on and listening to the stuff that goes on in the White House. Sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it's heavy to the point where it can become depressing. And people are just not feeling good nowadays because of the stuff that's in the news, on top of the stuff that they may be facing their own everyday reality.
Wow, man, that's deep right there and telling of what it can do to you. I definitely want to get into the signs of gaslighting so people can start to understand what's happening and when it's happening. One of the articles that I was reading, it talked about some of the stages of gaslighting, and we can definitely get into those as well. But let's talk about the signs. Some of the ones that kind of stood out to me, and I think we've kind of touched on those, is like the constantly second-guessing yourself. And, thinking that you're either being too sensitive or being too, second guess or overthinking overthinking things that you're doing versus what's happening with the person that's gaslighting you, like your boss or your spouse or your mate that's doing it to you. And then being apologetic for the things that you do when it's really not you that's making things bad. It's that they're trying to control you or trying to get manipulate you into doing certain things that benefit them. And one of the biggest ones, and I noticed that because a friend of mine was going through a relationship like this, where the person that they were in a relationship with was building them up and then breaking them back down constantly, like this constant shift back and forth between upliftment and then tearing them down. So it was, it was always, a nitpick here and a nitpick there, and then there'll be maybe one little inkling of a good thing that they did, but then they'll tear them down immediately after that, and maybe even in the same compliment, like, oh, you cooked this, food really well, but your dessert was trash, stuff like that, So those are some of the most prominent signs that I noticed in the list, in a couple of lists that I found. Anybody else have some that stood out to them?
I'm reading sometime. I'm wondering. I think I might have been gaslighted in one relationship or two. I'm reading some of them, and I'm just like, just crazy. I think the one that stuck out to me the most is making excuses for them. Like you try to rationalize what's happening, and you make an excuse like everything's okay. Like that to me stuck out. Like because I've done that for a lot of people, and I've like I said, as I'm reading more about this, I'm like really thinking that I might have been in this situation before, because it's I'm assessing I know some relationships I was in weren't healthy, and I'm glad I wasn't no longer in them, but yeah, I think that one sticks a lot for me, because I think a lot of people do that. They make excuses for the other person, even though they know that what they're doing is not right, or trying to justify their actions as if it's okay.
I think one big one to me is being alone. Sometimes, one of the systems is like, sometimes you feel like you deserve to be alone.
Yeah.
You understand? So, that goes back to self-worth, because now you feel like you're not good for anybody. You're not good enough. That's that. And I've seen that occur in relationships, and not just like, with boyfriend, girlfriend. I feel like the brother mentioned earlier, with parents and children and their children. Sometimes the children feel like they're not good enough. So maybe they don't deserve the love from their parent. They don't deserve to be loved at all, so to speak. And that can cause, some kids to do some things to themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, I've seen it happen. I know some people committed suicide. I know some people who tried to commit suicide because they felt like they weren't worth, they didn't deserve affection. They didn't because people made them feel that way. So that's one of the harshest systems to me, because the worst thing for anybody to feel is that they don't deserve to be loved or they deserve to be alone. None of us deserve to be alone. None of us should be alone. So, that's one of the worst realities of it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add on to that as well. Feeling like you don't deserve being with somebody, or you feel like you have to you deserve being alone. One of the things that I do with my clients is if you ever heard me in a speaking engagement or radio, I always say that the life of your dreams is wonderful and you deserve it. And I'll have people repeat that over and over and over and over and over again. You'll hear me. You'll see it on my posts. You'll see me saying it just randomly to myself in the mirror. Because a lot of times what happens is that we get tricked into believing that we're not worthy of the things that we want, the things that we know we deserve. You tell me that I don't deserve it doesn't mean I don't deserve it. It doesn't mean that's your opinion. It's the same as somebody shooting somebody in the foot and they call them crippled. You can't punch me in the face and then tell me that I should just get over it. You don't know what that effect. You don't know what effect that caused me. So now I have to go through a process to keep myself, free from the drama that someone else tries to cause. And so what we do, we have to keep promoting just human rights, people being treated like human beings, people not being treated like property, people not being treated like slaves. And when you look at it again, I look at another entity that uses these same tactics as a character that is hyper promoted in our community. Unfortunately, is the pimp. This is simply one-on-one. Like you tell somebody that you build them up to tear them down. You tell them that they're not this, they're not that. You tell them that no matter what they do, they're not good enough. That's what we're looking at. And somehow, some way, this is the way that people want people that they have to treat other people to get what they want. And we have to continually, I love this show because now people can see the symptoms, they can see the problems, but they can also see the solution. You don't have to succumb to somebody telling you that you're not good enough for their standards or you're not good enough to be loved. That's not the truth. The truth of the matter is that you deserve beautiful things. You deserve to have somebody in your life that's going to love you back. If you have all this love in your heart to give, then you deserve somebody who's going to love you back. And I definitely want that point to resonate. You don't have to be alone, and you don't have to stick with somebody who doesn't love you. You deserve to have somebody that loves you back. Facts.
Yeah. So my situation is a little different. I had to fight back. That's how I got over mine, because my wife was trying to get people on her side to kept trying to make me out to be the villain and her be the victim of our relationship when she was causing all these issues. I admit I had some calls, and I had my mistakes. I never cheated on her or anything like that, but the way she kept trying to make it seem like that, I did cheat on her. And, she's supposed to have forgave me and kept harboring this resentment and, why don't you just get over it? It's been months now, and, I don't want to get over it, and I still want to talk about it. Why do you want to talk about something that's hurtful? So I decided to start fighting back and start, giving her open-ended questions you always joke about me in front of our friends or whatever, cracking jokes on each other. But when was the last time you said something positive about me? No, she had to walk out the room because we were with other people. I took her to the side when I asked her this question. She said, "Oh, everybody's joking with each other." Yeah, but I asked her, when was the last time you said something positive about me? And I just walked away, went back in the room with our friends. She went upstairs and cried because she knew she couldn't do this no more to me.
Wow, that's powerful. And that's an approach, right? That sometimes has to be taken. Is confronting the gaslighter and making them realize. And that was one of the things I saw in one of the articles I was reading. It was specifically talking about workplace relationships. Because it's easier, right, to confront people in the workplace about their behaviors and in the way they treat people in the workplace. But it was, as Damon showed, it's something you can do with your mate as well, and sometimes you have to, because you have to make them realize or even empathize with the situation that they're putting you in. One of the things that it pointed out was that sometimes the gaslighter doesn't even know what they're doing to you, because it's probably a defense mechanism for them, or that it's a way of them, like a survival technique for them, in order to make them either feel better about themselves, to feed a need that they have psychologically, no matter what the negative effect it has on others. But a lot of times they've learned that, right? They've learned, like in Damon's ex-wife's case, she was doing something that she felt everybody else was doing. she felt she needed to do that as a defense mechanism, but making her realize the negative effects it was having on him helped their situation. One of the other signs that stood out to me, because it happened to me before, was the fact that some gaslighters will project upon you their inadequacies, their guilt, things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. They'll put that on you and say, "Why are you doing this?" And it'll turn out it's really them. And that projection becomes a defense on you as the person that's the victim of the gaslighting. Like the person that I was with at one point, was accusing me of cheating, and I'm like, I know I'm not cheating on them. I'm not doing anything wrong. I wasn't, a flirt or even, a looker or anything like that. And that person was putting that on me that they felt like I was out in the streets cheating on them when I was just, I would go to work every day, come home, that kind of thing, right? And the thing was, they were projecting their own guilt upon me. It turned out they were the ones cheating. They had this, thing going on outside of our relationship, and they were more than likely just feeling guilty about the things that they were doing and hoping that I was either guilty as well, or maybe trying to justify their guilt or justify their actions to themselves. And so it's another classic case of how a gaslighter will try to, manipulate you and make you feel like you have to defend yourself. And I think Miles brought this up earlier, talking about how even with strong-minded people, a lot of times you feel, you take pride in who you are, right? You take pride in your identity, your the way you do things, the way you operate. Maybe your intelligence, maybe your empathy itself, maybe it's the way you work, your work ethic. But when a person either projects or accuses you of doing things that are counter to that, being a strong-minded person, you may go on the defensive and try to prove yourself to that gaslighter. And you sit there and you fight that battle constantly with that gaslighter to show them that you are who you say you are, when they're just manipulating you to feed their needs. So that's also a sign to look out. Go ahead.
Yeah, also I was going to say, and sometimes the strongest will of people and minded, sometimes that can just break down after fighting so long. You get tired, and you just give in to the gaslighter as well. Because nobody wants to continue. If a peaceful person doesn't want to constantly, every day, fight with somebody on any level, they want some type of peace and harmony. So sometimes they will give in. I gave in for a while because I just wanted peace in my home. I want to come home, have a nice day from work, or her to come home, and I wanted to have a nice meal. Not what argument we're gonna have today, or what mood is she gonna be in. I just want to have a peaceful home. So sometimes you will give in and just say, yes, I made a mistake, sorry, and just try to move on, just to appease that individual with the issue.
Let me ask y'all something real quick, though, because you mentioned, I think Willie, one of y'all mentioned that subconsciously sometimes, the gaslighters do it without even realizing it. Now, we all talked about how us or people we know, have any of y'all ever did it? Been perpetrators of it, subconsciously or consciously?
I don't think I ever did. I hope not. I don't think I knowingly did that to someone else.
So you never tried to bend the narrative?
Huh?
You never tried to bend the narrative in a relationship or in any situation?
Well, no. I think I'm really good with owning up to my faults in situations that I've been in, whether relationship or any type of relationship. So I think I'm pretty clear on that. But I mean, I can't. I don't know. I don't know if someone would say that I didn't do that, or I did do that to them, Like, I don't know if someone would say that about me, but I don't think I did it to anyone.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like I'm going to get back to Sunny in a second here because I got a good point about her situation. No. It's good. It's actually good. It's actually in your favor. It's to your defense. But to answer Clint's question, I've done it and not realizing. Well, I won't say I didn't realize. I didn't realize I was gaslighting. I'll put it that way. But I have been guilty of trying to be right by any means necessary. So, right, and you know the thing is, and I sometimes I catch myself even now trying to do it sometimes, but I have a filter now, right? You know, the older I've gotten and the more empathetic I've gotten with other people's either their situation or their level of understanding or my own, you know, ignorance to the world. I've gotten a filter, but in the past, I know that I've, to a fault, tried to prove myself right in situations where I've manipulated people. You know, I've used my strong intellect and my, you know, education in order to bend or twist or you know, maybe even omit things to make myself in the right. You know what I mean? So it was something that I had to recognize was wrong, for one. Luckily, I recognized it early on, and I recognized it because I kind of self-checked, right? And one of the articles I was reading, and this goes back to what Sonny was talking about just a second ago, one of the articles I was reading, it was talking about, you know, how do you verify if you are either being gaslighted or being a gaslighter. So it's about self-checking, right? Reality checking, doing a self-assessment, asking other people. And something that I heard, and actually it was I guess one of my exes made a comment about when I broke up with her, was that she felt like I always had to be right. Like I put that on her. And at first I didn't understand what that meant. I was like flabbergasted that she even made that accusation about me. So I ended up talking to somebody else and about the situation, and they said, hey, this is, you know, they kind of explained, they broke it down for me. I won't go into the details because it's a lot to explain, but they basically broke it down to me what I was doing or what you know, she was perceiving me to do. And so I started to self-check and to verify with myself based on what that other person, that third party told me what I was doing. And it made me realize that that's exactly what, you know, I was by any means, even to the detriment of the person I was doing it to, I would be trying to be right at all times. Nowadays, when I'm trying to be right, I try to take a more educated approach and a more thoughtful approach to it, you know, to say, you know, either this is just my opinion or what I've read or have something to back it up. I try not to be as with it as I can if I notice that I'm being pushy. A great example probably was last week when we were having our back and forth, and sometimes you realize when you're in a conversation, especially when you're heated and you're passionate, you start to inflect and you start to push, you know. And so when I notice I do that, then I back up and I say, you know what, how can I approach this differently? Because if I really want to be this right about something, I should be able to back it up with either facts or references, or I should be able to get the person to at least agree to disagree. So, yes, I've been guilty of it. Luckily, I think I've only noticed one of the 15 or 16 different signs that I read about gaslighting. Only been a perpetrator of one, but yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. But going back to Sonny, I'm sorry to be taking up this much time, but going back to Sonny's point, one thing that I did read too, though, was that a lot of people who have been victims of gaslighting, especially multiple ways, and I mean, Sonny's very open and very, very honest about things that happen in her life. Sonny's been a victim of like 2 or 3 different types of gaslighting that we can probably all can pick out, just from her conversations, as well as being a woman. She's going to be a victim of gaslighting in a couple other ways that we know are going to happen in the workplace, in relationships, things of that nature. So they say that most victims of gaslighting are more than likely to be gaslighters themselves. They'll normally take the stance of right versus wrong, and they'll normally approach people more either, more apologetic about that other person's or that person's situation, or they'll do what they can to understand versus manipulate. So, she may be right. She may have never gaslighted, or at least nothing is blatant as what I've done. So, or as what's been done to her. So it's definitely something that happens, is that we become a shield for other gaslight victims and say, I'm not going to do that to somebody else, because we've seen it happen to us.
I want to kind of also add to that. A wise person told me something once, and it resonated in my spirit since that day that they told it to me. And she said to me that in life you can choose to either be happy or white. And when I heard that statement, it's like a switch went off in my head. All the time that you try to fight to prove how white you are, or to prove that this person's opinion of you is wrong, takes time away from you being a happy person. It takes more time for me, enjoying the spoils of life, the beauty of life. I would much rather spend that time or invest that time doing things that inspire me, that make me happy, that make me want to live life to the fullest, versus having to prove to you that I'm right about who I know I am. And when I got to that place now, I'll be man to admit, I can honestly tell you, yes, I am guilty of gaslighting myself. I've done it. It's not something I'm proud of. And when I read through everything, I I did do that to somebody. But I also man to tell you that I went back and got it right. I apologized because I could see that some things I was doing was manipulative. Not telling the whole truth is manipulative. That's a form of gaslighting. It's actually manipulation through deception. So, if anybody's ever told a lie, whether it's white or small or whatever the case may be, a lie is a lie. And yes, I've done that. And I mean, like I said, I can admit it, and I've apologized for it. I move forward. Now, moving forward, also now from a place of wanting to be happy. I want happiness for you. I want happiness for anybody that I come in contact with. So, again, like you said, there's an empathy that I have now for people who've been severe victims of manipulation and gaslighting, because I've been through that process, and I don't like how it felt for me. So I wouldn't want to give that to you. I want to give you something that will appreciate in value and not depreciate in value. I can be nice to you. I can be kind to you. I can give you words of wisdom. I can empower you. I can encourage you. And those things will grow and become something bigger and better that can propel you and somebody else to something greater. Or I can sit here and be the person that keeps you down and talk about you and treat you like you're crap. And that doesn't solve anything for anybody. So that's the point the reference I wanted to add to it.
Definitely good point.
I definitely have.
How do you follow that?
I've done it. And to be quite honest, I knew I was doing it. Hey, listen, I probably met Sonny about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, it looks like, but even then, like, she knew a different version of me. I mean, like, she knew, like, by that time, I was changed. I was going through a lot, so I was changing my mindset, trying to prove myself. But before that, like, I was what you would call a savage. Like, like, if I see a weakness in you, especially mentally, yeah, I will play on it for my benefit, knowing full well the karma. I believe in karma. Always believed in karma. Always believe what goes around comes around, and knowing damn well that what I was doing was wrong, being manipulative, trying to get over, trying to get people to side with me, knowing that it would come back. But, like that whole list, I probably did that. I probably did all of those at least once to somebody. You feel me? Probably never all of them to one person. I never, I never wanted to break anybody, so to speak. But if I could manipulate something to my advantage, especially back then, my teenager, early 20s, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to sit here and lie in front. You feel me? I know damn well I've done it. But like I said, I believe in karma, and life has a way of humbling you. Fiercely has a way of humbling.
Yeah.
So all of that, it definitely came back, and in a plethora of different ways. It always comes back. But I know for a fact that I've done it. It's been done to me. But that's why when you came up with this topic, and I read up on it, I was like, wow. Excuse me. I was like, wow. I've definitely done that to somebody. I've definitely done that to somebody. I've projected. I try to get people to side with me. You know what I mean? I've done those things. I tried to change the narrative. You feel me? I tried to make somebody believe something wasn't real when it was, or something was fake when it was real. You know what I mean? So, I know definitely Clinton Wilson Jr. has done it.
Yeah. I've done it myself, willfully done it, knowingly I've done it. I started doing it to people that are close to me because I don't want to lose any friendships and over some crap that can be resolved really easy. Just compromise, just get along. I kind of still do it to this day, knowingly, like to my employer when he's being a jerk. Like I just try to, just because I'm me, I guess. Like to try and get some time off or come in late just because I'm taking care of some stuff around the house for my family. I will do certain things, for my employer because I feel that he's taken advantage of me in the past, so why not do the same thing back to him? Am I proud of it? Not really. Ashamed either.
Wow. Like you said, like was said, sometimes it was done knowingly, but also as a defense mechanism. Yep. I've definitely been in that situation where I've knowingly did it, but sometimes it was in self-preservation. It was in self-defense, so to speak, defending myself, as far as I can see it. As far as my understanding. That doesn't make it right. Yeah, from my perception, it doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? Like Damien said, I'm not proud of it, but sometimes, you got to do what you got to do to get by. That's how I looked at it. Like I said, it's not right. You feel me? But it is what it is. I've done it. I've done. It's been times where I've done it, and I kind of let the person know while I'm doing it that I'm doing it, and they still couldn't catch it. You feel me?
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, like I'm right in their face, like blatantly, and I'm sitting there like, wow, they really either they're just allowing it knowingly, they have no clue. Well, I'm that good. It was. I mean, like that's a fact. Like that's a cold hard. You know what I mean? That's what they say, a jagged little pill to swallow. You feel me? But
right.
You feel me? I've definitely done that. Definitely done that. You feel me? And sometimes and you feel bad doing it. You feel me? Like you feel bad doing it. But when you in that selfish, it's all about selfishness. When you in that selfish and your ego, you feel me? It's like it's hard. It's hard to just stop sometimes. You feel me? That's why life will humble you. You know what I mean? Life will humble you.
Right. I mean, and it's funny that you mention it that way because, and this is one thing that I found fascinating about this topic is how it moves through, this gaslighting effect moves through different relationships. I mean, you're doing it on purpose as either a defense mechanism or as a way of getting back at somebody. Damon's using it as a defense mechanism to get back at his job. Me and Miles are doing it to crush people. It's like everybody's got. And then Sonny's not doing it at all. So you got.
Sure. No, I ain't buying it. Not buying it.
That's gonna be my new slogan is I'm not buying it. But I'm gonna buy it from Sonny this time because I read about it. So I got some proof to back up her evidence. So, but my thing is, it's just crazy to me how much.
Hold up, Willie. Really, Damon, you gonna try to throw me under the bus?
It's with love.
That sounds like he's gaslighting me.
He's about to get gaslighted by me. Today I'm about to start.
I'm sorry. Project.
But yeah, so I that's what I found fascinating about this, that so many people are either affected by it, using it, some know it, some don't, and this is why I thought it was important to discuss it and kind of bring it out, get it in front of people so they can realize, especially because when you see it happening to people, especially in a negative way, it usually is negative, but you know what I mean, it's in such a damaging way. One of the articles I was reading, the person described it as the effects on them as a form of PTSD. They were so shell-shocked by it in a workplace that it forced them to question their abilities and them from being as successful as they thought they could be, and as well as kind of turn their work environment upside down. We see it in relationships all the time, with our family members, with our friends, things of that nature. And sometimes you want to point it out to the person, but they're not hearing you. And it even talks about that in a lot of the articles that we've all read, is that these people they question themselves to the point of driving themselves crazy, even though a loved one is pointing it out to them. But that gaslighter is so good, it's so manipulative, or it's so conniving with it that they keep that hold on that person, that control. So definitely, I'm going to post links to our Twitter, to our Facebook page for the articles, and there's more signs. I think there's like out of the 4 or 5 articles I read, I think I counted at least 12 or 13 unique signs of gaslighting, either that people are doing to each other or you could be doing to somebody else right now, as well as where it happens, and that's the sad part. We've all mentioned things such as the workplace, the media, the White House, Capitol Hill. It's happening everywhere. No place is immune. No place is off limits. We see it happening in churches. We see it happening in schools. We see it happening everywhere. And it's a matter of recognizing it. And then, if you're doing it to somebody and you don't realize it, look for the signs yourself. Do some self-checking. Try to turn it around. Treat each other like human beings. Like I said, let's show people that they are loved. Let's show people that they are important.
Our own president, not our president, but Trump is actually, he's doing it as well. So pay attention, people.
Pay attention, definitely pay attention. Well, we're getting into the after show. I want to throw the number back out there. I don't know if we had any calls. Sonny's manning the board.
No,
looking out for anybody who wants to call in. But if you want to call in and give your testimony, the number here is 657-383-1155. Or tweet us at GFT_radio. I'm on the Twitter boards, posting and responding. So definitely hit us up on Twitter. We in the after show, people. Anybody wanna pose another topic, another question, another? I really want to talk about y'all. I don't know. Y'all don't see my links. I've been posting links, but I know a lot of people still haven't seen the movie. I've been wanting to talk about this movie so bad, but I'm gonna be good.
Get to it.
Spoil it for nobody.
No, I didn't see it. Don't do it.
You still ain't seen it? Son,
no, I've been busy.
Sonny, you hold,
the weekend it
you
came
holding up
out
progress.
was my birthday party.
You holding up progress, Sonny.
So y'all can't talk about it yet. We will not talk about it until I see it.
I think Damon's seen it 4 times already. I've seen it.
I've seen it twice.
Y'all have more free time than me, though. Y'all have way more free time than me. I do not.
No,
I have my son's birthday that
true.
weekend.
That is not true at all. That's not true.
Nobody's asking you. Nobody was even talking to you. I'm just saying, we can't talk about it. I'm banning it from GFT radio until I see it.
All right, well, I got something. I got something.
What's the something?
I was waiting for my advance.
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, no, have you seen Black Panther?
Really?
I have seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. It's a good movie.
See, even? Yep. Everybody needs to go see this movie. It's important to the culture.
I'm going to see it again. So
I am too.
I'm going to see it. So.
Well,
I've seen it twice as well.
I just haven't been able to go this week. I work during the week. I have stuff when I come home.
All right. Can I say something on it without giving away anything on Sonny? No. I'm not going to give away anything on it. I just want to make a comment on it.
Make that quick comment.
Okay. D.L. Hughley, a couple of weeks before the movie came out, he was making mention how he doesn't understand how a lot of black people, all of them, are so excited about a fictional superhero. Then after he went to go see the movie, he made the comment, I can understand why everybody is so excited about a superhero that's black. It's because majority of all black movies were either slaves first, goons, criminals, a servant of some type, and in this movie, there's none of that. Mm-hmm. We're actually a proud people. We're actually a proud people with, even though it's a fake country and it's not real, but it gives us that sense of betterment, that we can do better. This can be actually us if we allow us to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave it right there because I want Sunny to enjoy her movie. But
I do want to say this because, that weekend it came out was my son's birthday party weekend, so I was on mommy mode. But I will say this, I don't post on Facebook on week because I'm probably sleeping or doing shit that I got to get done or whatever. But here's what I will say, and this is to black folks. I need y'all to not be angry. Let people be great. Let people celebrate the way they choose. Let people go to movie dresses however the fuck they want to get dressed. Why is it? And then it's a pop. It bothers me. And I made a post about it too because I feel like I haven't seen the movie yet, right? But still, why? I don't understand how come people are just being negative Nellies the whole weekend. Like, people getting dressed, that's stupid. Blah blah blah. Like, I didn't know it was a Marvel comic movie and not really the Black Panther. Like, what the fuck? Preview were you watching? The preview showed you what the hell it was. Like, what did you watch? Did you not understand that it was a freaking fictional movie? Like, what did y'all like? I don't understand why it was so much.
I 1,000% disagree.
Why?
Because this is what a good movie will always conjure up emotion and conversation. So my thing is, you have to take the bad with the good. There's going to be negative feedback on anything. So you have to take it. You have to take it. It comes with the territory.
No, I agree, but I just feel like, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is our main problem amongst people of the same skin tone and color that we are. Like,
nah, that's why I disagree with.
No,
because
it is.
Because me and Willie was having the same debate. Right or wrong, Willie? Me and Willie was having this same debate, and I said to Willie, because I'm a Trekkie, and I love Star Wars. You feel me? You know, but those are predominantly white. You know, white people love that. If you go to we know how they dress up for the Star Trek and the Star Wars.
Harry Potter, for that matter.
Yeah. But guess what? They get criticized too.
Yes.
By the people of their same. It's not a race thing. It's more of a how you just, you know what I mean? It's just more of a how you view things. Like, man, it ain't that serious. But at the end of the day, you feel me? It's like that's just people how people see it. You feel me? Because I was joking about going to. I'm like, man, I put the picture up on Instagram where they had the 4 people. They dressed all and got the stuff all over their face, and I posted on there like, listen, man, when I go to this movie, I don't need this type of energy. You feel me? I was joking with it. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't really mad at them. That's just something I would not do.
No, but see, here's my problem with that. Okay, so you know Anthony Walker, who has all the social events around Trenton and circling areas, right? He had a viewing party. People were dressed up people were dressed up to go to that. Not everybody, but the majority of people was. They had a red carpet and everything, right? People took pictures. It was a big event, whatever, right? And then not even that. People were so most people go to a movie, go see Ninja Turtles and wear Ninja Turtle shirt. People that went when Straight Outta Compton came out, everybody got Straight Outta Compton shirt. Nobody said nothing about that. Like, why? It's a fad when it's something like that. But this is something that's I feel like it's not like this big hard pressed thing, but it is to a certain extent because this is the first movie where it's a predominantly black cast of people, and it's not a slave movie or it's not Roots or nothing like that. Whatever. It's like a real it's a fun movie and it's action, and they actually got paid a lot of money to do this movie and stuff like that. So we should be promoting it from that standpoint. And then on top of that, for me personally, I feel like this is our month. Why are we what are we doing? If we're supposed to be at it, if people say Black History Month is 365, I totally agree, right? But this is our month. We're supposed to be packed up that a movie that just came out and broke box office records and sold more tickets than they thought they would. Why are we bitching about what the fuck people wear to it? Let them wear the fuck they wear flip-flops. Guess what? I don't give a damn. I bought my ticket and went to go see it. We're done. I enjoyed it. Happy day. Move on. It was a great movie.
You're looking at it from your perspective.
Yeah, but it's still stupid. I don't want to go down. I was pissed off going down Facebook and saying, "Oh, y'all stupid for dressing up." Shut the fuck up. I feel the same way about when people do the holidays. You don't celebrate holidays. Shut the fuck up or log off on people. Because Christmas is gonna come out. People gonna celebrate it, and you still gonna bitch about it. And guess what? Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, and Sonny, Sonny, I feel you 100%. But I also feel Clint 100% on what he's saying because and especially the point Clint made earlier when he said about the conversation that's going to be had, right? Yeah. There's going to be people. There's going to be naysayers, right? You're going to have your naysayers. You're going to have your people who are going to be like, this is cool, and you're going to have your people that's just not going to understand. There's going to be people on all sides, all perspectives, all feelings about something, right? And I think that no matter how much we complain about the complainers, there's still going to be complainers. No matter how much we want everybody to be harmonious and on the same page about this, I see the cultural significance of this movie. I see the reality of the fact that it's a movie. I see different sides of it, but some people are only going to see things one way, right? What Clint was, the post Clint was talking about, I got on there and I was acting up on him. I was mainly just trying to get at him, trying to get on Clint's nerves, but the point he was making, and I was feeling
Gaslighter.
I was gaslighting like a mug. So, but the thing the point that he made on one of the comments though that I really liked that he pointed out was about the about the confusion, right? You know, there was this confusion of what they were celebrating, right? There was people, you know, dressed up like they were going to see Coming to America Part 2. Yeah. And it's like, this is a whole different movie, you know. This example of Trekkies going to see Star Wars movies was like perfect. Exactly. But then also, you know, there was this conversation, and I kind of pointed this out. I pointed this out to my girlfriend and to a couple other people about conversation about people who push this movie as this great thing that's happening to black people as like the first superhero movie for black people, and it's like it's not, right? You know, I'm happy y'all are happy about this, but there's that confusion again. There's been black superhero movies before, full black.
Not like this. Not like this though.
No, listen to me. Even full black cast, right? You know, the thing is that what we're supposed to be celebrating about this is and the point that I think Damon's trying to make is the way this is being pushed, right? The way the story is being told. You know, there's things that are happening. Don't worry, Sonny, no spoilers. There's things that are happening in this movie that have not been addressed in past movies. There's things that are being showcased in this movie that are also not being addressed, like pointed out about the pride, right? And I've read some articles about the political aspects of it, the social aspects of it. You know, and then even there's one article I just read. I think I shared it with you guys on text. There's an article that talks about the type of villain that they're creating, you know, with this movie, and it actually was an evolution. There's an evolution of villainy in Marvel, because there's always been a complaint that Marvel villains suck, right? And the last 2 or 3 villains have been this evolution, and the culmination is Eric Killmonger and the type of person that he is. He's not even really a villain in certain regards, because you can feel him, you can understand his plight, you can understand where he's coming from. So, you know, let's not give away too much, but basically the thing is that there's things that are happening that we need to celebrate about in this movie, and that's what we have to recognize versus this confusion about what it's really about. And I think that's what DL's point was as well. I didn't listen to his whole I can't think of what you call his show, his whole radio show about what he thought about the movie, his whole review. But I know he did change his tune because he recognized now like what the importance really was. It's a little deeper than what some people are putting out there. So, you know, but it's like let's say it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's an awesome movie. It's a great movie. It's an amazing movie that creates conversation. Yeah. Right or wrong, black or white, good or bad, everything in between, you're going to get it. And you're going to see it. And, you know, we don't We don't have to like it. We don't. And sometimes we don't want to see it, you know, but it's going to be, these conversations are going to be had. And I think it's important that these conversations are had. I think it's important that everybody gets their chance to kind of give their perspective and viewpoint. Believe me, I watched a YouTube video yesterday. I have to finish looking at it to see if it's something I want to share out there. But so far, the way it's going, they're giving their review of it, but they're doing it from I forgot how they put it. I think they call it not metaphysical. Anyway, it's like these are intellectuals, right? And they're black intellectuals. And they're talking about it from their point of view. At first, I thought it was going to be a little negative because, you know, usually black intellectuals, they shoot a lot of things down that's black because they see the faults, right? Yeah. And they weren't doing that left and right. They were pointing out the good and the bad, which I kind of liked because they gave me a perspective. They gave me a perspective that I didn't either want to see or I saw and either ignored or didn't notice, right? And so it was good to have that conversation or listen to that conversation that they were having because it gave me new perspective and it allowed me to analyze the movie from a different point of view and to be able to even take more from it now. You know, I mean, it helped me. You know, some of the negative things they pointed out and the way that they kind of talked about what it needed to be or what it needed to do differently, and I was like, wow, you know, that's a good point. You know, there's certain things that happen in this movie that, if it was done a little differently, the movie could be even better, or the story could be even better, or it could be even more significant to our people and our culture and our agenda, right?
And in turn,
that's what makes the movie great, because, like you said, now you get to debate it. You understand? That's what I love about it. Like you get to debate. You feel me? Like whenever a movie evokes this much conversation, like that's letting me know they did something right. Whether like Willie just mentioned, you feel me, about the black intellectuals. I be on them all on the YouTube. I be stay watching them. I be trying to get y'all. I've mentioned a lot of them. Like go to Sanity TV. You feel me? Go to Young Pharaoh, Sarah Suicide. Like to get all. Now them couple of them dudes was who I thought was going to bash the movie, especially General Seti. I thought he was going to bash it, but he was coming like how Sonny come. You know what I mean? That was his perspective. Then it was the other guy, some other guy.
I said he agrees with me.
Yeah. I mean, word for word, he was coming just like how why you niggas always mad. And like he caught me off guard because he usually always want to point things out, you know what I mean, and break stuff down. Then there was this one guy on Instagram. It's called his name Awesome Attorney. You know what I mean? I'm gonna share one of his. Oh my goodness, he took kids to the movies and everything, bunch of kids. Man, I hate this movie. This movie was the worst. I was like, wow. Now I didn't expect that from him. He even had the kids saying that. I was like, well, wow.
Gaslighting.
Huh? Nah, he wasn't. When he break it down, like his negative points has valid reason. He has valid reason. You don't have to agree with him. Now I didn't agree with him, but you could see his perspective.
A lot of people won't agree with that about being a great movie is because if they read up on a comic book and go back all the way to the creation of Black Panther, a lot of stuff in that movie wasn't like all the other movies, actual movies from comic book movies. They're not all the way on script with the comic book. Facts. That's what a lot of people have problems with. It's like that's one thing everybody needs to stop doing is trying to compare it to the comic book.
Yeah, but they do that with movies that were made from books. Like a lot of the stuff are not in there. Like if you read Game of Thrones books, you know it's a lot of stuff that happened in that book that ain't never been on the shelf, and it's like in the air. You're like waiting for it to come out, but it's never going to happen. So same thing with Harry Potter and a lot of the Stephen King movies. Like what are they like? It's not going to be verbatim. Like the Bible movies, people get mad at those, and like not necessarily the real Bible movies, but the fictional Bible movies. They're not going. They're trying to make money. They're not trying to go strictly. This is not church. They're going to add some stuff to it to make it more people can go see it. Like people got to realize that it's never going to be exactly how it was written.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a common complaint across the board, like you said, Sonny, across for every kind of movie. The one thing I hate when I hear comic book people complain about that kind of stuff is what I always want to ask a comic book person is, do you really understand what comic book story arcs are? Do you really understand what that is? And do you understand that the movies are just a different arc? I mean, if you go to the Marvel Wikia online that goes over all the different characters, their powers, their origins, and all that kind of stuff, it describes for you each character in a specific arc, and it's based on, like with Marvel, they call it your different Earths, right? There's Earth 616, there's Earth 19999. 19999 is the one they use for the movies. 616 is your kind of your standard run of comics. There's another one, there's Earth 2, there's all these other ones. So it's like, what I don't understand is, like, if you really are a comic book person, you should know better. Like you should never complain that a movie, TV show, or anything ventures off canon. Like you have got to be like delusional to think that a movie is going to follow a comic book that you read 20 years ago. When there's been rewrites, there's been new arcs, there's been different variations, there's been splinters. I mean, the splinters are ridiculous when it comes to both Marvel and DC comics. You know, there's so many different ways they go with different storylines. You'll never see those specific one arc trails be represented properly in a movie, and even if it is, it's gonna be missing stuff because it can't, like Sonny just said, they can't go verbatim. These books span hours of content, and you only got 120 minutes.
And can I also mention something? You also have to think about what the director and creators are actually doing, because especially in Marvel, seeing how that with the movies they have out now is going toward the Infinity Wars, what they're trying to lead up to. A lot of the characters aren't in that Infinity Wars because of the studio didn't have the rights to certain other characters in movies. So they have to kind of to navigate around some other issues, because the X-Men originally, they're not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, the Fantastic Four, and also they didn't have Spider-Man, but somehow they got the rights to that, to use Spider-Man only, but not the other not the other characters that belong in Infinity Wars, which will take at least 20 hours just to go through.
Right.
Yeah, but even like Willie was saying with the movies, you know, like they got Batman played by 3 people, and it's all 3 different ways of how things happen with him. Spider-Man too. You got Spider-Man when you got the one when what's the name played. Everything is like a little bit different. The stories are always, it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's always different, because if you watch the one with Tobey Maguire, he played Spider-Man when he was like a college kid or something like that. Then they got the new Spider-Man who became it when he was a boy. So it's all over the place. But y'all still go out and watch them. So why is it that, like, I don't understand why they so upset about it, you know?
But that goes back to my point. Yeah, that goes back to my point. Like, it's always going to be that. I get frustrated at the people who get frustrated by it. Why you get frustrated?
Don't be frustrated with me. Tell me you're frustrated with me.
Yeah, but I'm serious though. It's like that. Even with the let's go somewhere else with it. With the 50 Shades movie.
Oh, God. 50 Shades movie.
Like, huh? You like it?
Yeah, I've been watching them.
Guess what? Guess what though? The people who read the book, they call you a fool.
Yeah, no.
You feel me? They call you a fool. They look at that 50 Shades movie. They be like, "Are you serious? What is this crap?"
Because it's not. I know people that read the book that went to go see the movie, and we already know that it ain't nothing like the book. The book is a whole different. It's like a Zane read.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Right. So it goes across the board.
That's
you feel me? Like so when people like when me and Willie was just having that discussion. On my thing, I was like, you feel me? Because him and Reggie had brought up, well, when white people do this, I'm like, why are we bringing race into it? Feel me? That's a people thing. That's just people just do that. Right. You feel me? People just gonna complain. You feel me? People gonna make jokes. That's just what's gonna happen. So it's like I don't even. It's pointless to get frustrated at it. You feel me? Because you got traditions. Some people don't like remakes. You know what I mean? Some people don't like sequels, a trilogy. You feel me? It's always gonna be a killjoy.
Yeah, because something your husband was stuck.
You know what I mean? Like it just happened.
I don't know who thought of that one, but that one, like, you left something yard, left it at that. I don't know why you fucking made 2. That was dumb as hell. It was whack as shit. But I'm sorry.
What was that?
Huh?
You said what was that they made up?
Oh, Something Yard. Like when they Something Yard came out, that was a great movie. Oh, yeah. Then they made Something Yard Homecoming, which was whack as shit. Yeah. Sometimes you just leave shit alone. Like when House Party stopped playing out, and then they put Image on it, and it was still whack as fuck. Like let it go. We rocking with kids.
Got 5 minutes left, people. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, you good. I'm sorry. I'm just ranting.
On top of that rant, though, I was just listening to somebody talking about. I think it was Tony. It was either Tony Rock or not Earthquake. What's the other big guy that just got skinny? The other big comedian just got skinny.
Anthony Anderson?
No, Bruce Crawford. So they were talking about how all these remakes and all these reboots are coming out, and it's like, well, why? Like, why are they doing this where you can't top what we had in the past? What's the name said it too? The one that played Big Worm. He was saying how he didn't want to be. Yeah, he was like, he don't even want to be in a Friday After Next because he's like, it's that bar's too high. You can't get up there. And he's like, what I'm gonna do in that movie anyway? Be Big Worm again? Like that's so played out, And it's like, some things you gotta just leave alone. Just leave it alone. It's already a classic. It's already, a staple in the community. Leave it alone.
Bye, Felicia will go down in infamous history.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, people. I guess we can wrap it up. Definitely been a great show tonight. Talking about gaslighting, having a nice spoiler-free conversation about Black Panther because somebody don't want spoilers yet. And then,
listen, she better see it by next week, or she's just gonna have to hang up.
Yep.
She better see it by next week, or she just gonna hang up. Because I feel like we could do a whole show on it. To be quite honest with you.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I will make sure that I will attempt to go see it Sunday. Take my child with me if I like her by then. But I will attempt to go see it on Sunday. That way, by Thursday, we could talk about it. That's what the show gonna be about. We could talk about it.
All right, bet.
And if not, I just won't be on the show.
We'll have to have our fellas round table just because we gotta have a conversation like without study. Dang.
That'd be too funny.
Right. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Let's give out our information. Miles, you still on the line with us? You want to give out your information? All right, Damien, go ahead and give out your information. I'll give out Miles' information.
Twitter, I'm Agent D Low at Twitter.
Y'all know y'all can hit the boy up on my blog at kingstruth.com, Instagram at kingstruth609, and that's about it. I'll let your boy.
And of course, I am Sunny_D on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Catch me on my blog, unreservedlyme.com.
And thank you again to Miles Miller for joining us on the show. You guys can get at Miles at Miles W. Miller, or check out his radio show, his Blog Talk radio show. He's also at mileswmiller.com or at the MWM show. This is your boy, Willie Styles. You can check me out at Willie Styles everywhere. WillieStyles.info for all my links. Make sure you listen to us on demand at blogtalkradio.com/GFT Radio Show, or on iTunes, podcast, Google Play Music, YouTube, or even on SoundCloud. And don't forget, you can get your T-shirts, long sleeve tees, sweatshirts, and more at the GFT Radio Show merchandise store, teespring.com/store/GFT Radio. And once again, all of our content is at GFTradioshow.com. See y'all next Thursday.
Catch y'all on Sunday.
It's time for some straight talk. You have their unlimited plan. So why do you keep running out of high-speed data? Never run out again with Straight Talk's new Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get all the 4G LTE data you want, all high speed, and all for just $55 a month on America's largest, most dependable 4G LTE networks, only from Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Video typically streams at DVD quality. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.